In what is their final home game of the season, Charlton would love to take their unbeaten run at the Valley into double figures, and a top 10 finish would represent another highly satisfactory outcome. Blackburn have hit a dip at just the wrong time. Without a win in 4, it's vital that Mark Hughes squeezes every last drop out of his troops in their final push for Europe. A Champions League slot was within Blackburn's grasp a couple of weeks ago. Now they really do need to strain every sinew just to make it into the UEFA Cup.
Here's Reid. Oh, fantastic goal!
Just move on up and keep on wishing. Remember your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing. Just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it.
A bright but chilly spring afternoon in south-east London, and a significant fixture in the Barclays Premiership for more than one reason. A top half finish still possible for the Addicts, a top 6 finish required by Blackburn if they're to enjoy a European adventure next season, but they are making heavy weather of it. 2 defeats and 2 draws in their last 4 games. George Graham is alongside me. They've hit the buffers at just the wrong time. Why?
Marcus, I honestly believe that Blackburn are one of the surprise packages of the season, in my opinion. It's a 9-month season. I think now they're just having a hiccup getting into the final straight, but they've still got 3 games left. And I think if they could win 2 out of the 3, I think that may get them that 4th place.
Not a good time to have a hiccup, though, is it?
No, it's not, Marcus, but when you sort of look at the beginning of the season, who would have taken Blackburn to finish 6th in the league? Not many people. So I think he's had a great season, Mark Hughes, and obviously the team as well.
The focus very much on Blackburn today. There are those here who feel this could be the end of an era, though. Alan Curbishley has been in charge for 15 years. He still has a year to go on his current contract, but would you be altogether surprised if this proved to be his last home game as Charlton manager?
Well, you ask him if he's going to be the England manager, Marcus.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think he sort of drifted in the betting game for the England manager, but for me, it wouldn't surprise me, no. I think he's, year in, year out, he's actually done a great job here, not only with the team. Look at the stadium, it's fabulous now. And I just sometimes feel as there's a time to sort of get out. Timing's very important in your managerial career, and I just get a funny feeling that now would be the time.
So even if it wasn't England, just another club for a fresh challenge?
Yeah, but the other point is as well, the other question, Marcus, is who is he going to go to? The top clubs seem to be very, very satisfied with their manager, and there's only probably 1 or 2 other clubs in England that would be better than Charlton at the present time.
Well, as we speak, very interesting developments on the field. The Charlton chairman, Richard Murray, is down addressing the supporters, and we understand that he is announcing Alan Curbishley's resignation. Let's hear what he has to say.
Let's show it to them. Thank you very much.
Extraordinary timing. We honestly had no idea that announcement was about to be made, but let me just clarify the situation. Alan Curbishley has resigned, or certainly is in the process of resigning as the manager of Charlton. He's been here for 15 years. He's been in sole charge for 11 years, but he's going to call it a day at the end of this season. The game today, the final match away at Manchester United. Well, George, we weren't just talking about it, it's now reality.
Yeah, you're a bit early with that question, Marcus. What timing?
Makes a change.
What timing? No, it doesn't really surprise me, Marcus, you know, because, as I say, I think he thinks he's probably taken the club as far as he can take them. The only thing is, what's on the next agenda for Alan? You know, is there a club out there already been in touch with him?
Well, of course, the rumours are going to circulate after what happened with Scolari yesterday. The England job is available again. Apparently no one quite knows what's happening with regard to the FA. I think he was being quoted at 10 to 1 to be the next England manager a couple of hours ago. Those odds are obviously going to come in rather sharply after this.
Yeah, but let's hope that all the fans here at the Valley, you know, really appreciate, because Alan at the beginning of the season, after a good start, they had a major hiccup and he was getting a lot of criticism, and the way he's bounced back, I think they should appreciate the job he's done over the 11 years as a sole manager.
Is he ready to be England manager, if that is what is being lined up for him, in your opinion?
Yes, I think so. Why not? I mean, you know, let's start blowing the trumpet for these young English managers. Sam Allardyce at Bolton, Alan Curbishley, look at Steve McLaren, he's doing a great job at Middlesbrough. I think there's actually a lot of good young English managers who can be an England manager.
Well, some visible shock on the faces of some of those Charlton supporters as the news sinks in. Remarkable developments just before a match, certainly. Let's bring you up to date with what else has happened in the Premiership today. It's been a dramatic day all round. Birmingham 0, Newcastle 0, and down at the bottom there, Wigan 1, Portsmouth 2, and as a result of that, Birmingham are relegated from the Premiership, as are West Brom, who didn't play today. They take on West Ham on Monday, but Portsmouth have pulled off another wonderful escape act. Benjani scored his first goal for the club today. A Matt Taylor penalty won it, and all that after Henri Camara had put Wigan in front. Gary Teal was also sent off in that game. Chelsea 3, Manchester United 0. Congratulations to Chelsea, champions for the second successive year. Gallas, Cole and Carvalho on target at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 1. A couple of goals for Steven Gerrard in that game. Manchester City 1, Fulham 2. It's Fulham's first away win of the season. Collins John and Steve Malbronk in the very last minute after Richard Dunn had put City in front. And Middlesbrough 0, Everton 1. James McFadden with the only goal at the Riverside. So this is how the table looks. Chelsea home and dry. Manchester United and Liverpool now level on points. United have a game in hand, and of course there's still that battle for fourth place. Spurs at home to Bolton tomorrow, Arsenal playing at Sunderland on Monday. Blackburn in 7th, now a point behind Newcastle, but with 2 games in hand. Bolton are still in that equation as well. And down at the bottom, we know that Sunderland, West Brom and Birmingham will all be in the Championship next season. Portsmouth have survived again. Let's have a quick word with the Blackburn manager, Mark Hughes, talking to Guy Havord.
Mark, your day's got off to a good start with UEFA Cup rivals Newcastle dropping points.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a good result if we capitalise on our game as well. So, yeah, they're in and around about the same position, so we need to get 3 points today if we can.
It's a must-win game, is it, for you?
Yeah, well, basically we're down to 3 games. It's a 3-game season, and that's what we've been saying to the players. The next 3 games will shape how the whole season pans out. So we're very positive. We've been playing well for the vast majority of the season, and we just need to finish it off now.
Well, that was obviously recorded a couple of minutes before the Alan Curbishley announcement. Who do you fancy today after what's happened in the last few minutes?
But, you know, I honestly believe that Blackburn are desperate to get that 6th position, so I'm taking them to actually win today.
OK, there have been 10 goals in 2 games between the sides already this season. Blackburn winning both of them. What's going to happen tonight? We're about to find out in the company of Tony Gale and Ian Dark.
A shell-shocked Valley here. They can't quite absorb this news. Alan Curbishley's resigned, and this is his last ever selection at the Valley. Several regulars out: Young, Ryderson, Thomas, Spector, Marcus Spent and Bothroyd, who's failed a fitness test. Keeper Thomas Myra is rested to give Stefan Anderson his first game since November. Young defender Osai Sankofa starts at the Valley for the first time ever. Kishishav replaces Romadal on the right, and there's a rare start for last year's top scorer, Sean Bartlett.
Well, I'm as shell-shocked as everyone else, Ian, I must admit, but here's Alan's starting line-up for Charlton. That back four with young Sam Kofa keeping his place, with a little bit of insurance in front of him in Kishichev, because last week he really had a hard time with Dennis Romadal, an attacking player, playing there. It's a solid back four, the midfield four across the middle. You've got Holland and Hughes to be holding. They'll be looking at Ambrose to get further down that left-hand side. And for once, Alan goes with 2 up front. He's always liked to play 4-5-1, but with a 2 up front today, Bartlett and Darren Bent. Well, hopefully it's a big bang for Charlton.
After 2 defeats, Blackburn freshen up their side. 2 guys fit again after a calf injury. Florent Sinama-Pongol is recalled to the attack, and Michael Gray comes into the left-back position. Andy Todd out with an injury. Emerson drops to the bench, along with David Bentley.
4-4-2 for Blackburn, and she's one of the most underrated sides in the Premiership for me. Just like it, look out for Pedersen on that left-hand side, super left-hand side player, and Bellamy is in absolutely great form up front.
I wonder whether the Blackburn players actually know the news. Maybe that's what Matt Holland is chatting to Ryan Nelson about there. Obviously the players will know what has happened there. We spoke to Matt Holland, Tony and I, beforehand. There was no inkling at all, was there? I wonder if it's news to him today as well.
Well, judging by the way we were talking to Matt, I think it is, Ian. I think it's news to everyone. And I must admit there have been signs in the last few weeks of Alan maybe thinking about it and worrying, like he hasn't taken chances before at League Charlton, and will his chance come? England, I don't know. If not, there's some big clubs.
Come on, boys! Come on, lads! And the question lingering in the air will be, where is Alan Curbishley going next? It's Charlton's last home game of the season, and their last game here under Alan Curbishley after 15 years in sole and joint charge. An emotional day here. Will Charlton see him off with a win? Blackburn, of course, have their own agenda, a big agenda. A win puts them back into that vital top 6 placing. And there's going to be a guard of honour here for the Charlton manager. And very well deserved too. He's always kept them safe. They've never, since Charlton returned to the Premiership, been even in a relegation scrap. Never lower than 14th. That is quite an achievement for this modest but very well-run club beside the River Thames. 7th, indeed, a couple of seasons ago. A huge reception for Alan Curbishley. What a job he has done at this football club. And the fans are on their feet. This is his 728th game in charge. He'll get to 729 next week at Old Trafford, his last game, and will fall 1 short of Jimmy Seed's record as the Charlton manager. Just 1 short. It's Alan Curbishley's day here. He'll want to win. The Charlton players will want to win. The Charlton fans will want to win. But Blackburn need a win, and need it badly if they're to get into the UEFA Cup. A poignant day here at the Valley is coming up live.
A dramatic day at the Valley, and that is before the game has even started. Let's rejoin Tony Gale and Ian Dark.
Now you just wonder, don't you, what's going through the mind of Alan Curbishley at this moment, alongside his long-time Lieutenant Mervyn Day, the former West Ham United goalkeeper. Keith Peacock will be there as well, and they'll be wondering what the future holds here at Charlton. What will become of this club, who've always managed to finish in the middle of the table and a bit higher as well under this man who's marshalled his troops excellently. Just to confirm the news, in case you're just joining us here, those tears are because Alan Curbishley's resignation as the Charlton manager has been announced just before the kickoff here to the crowd. Watching from the England management team today is Tord Gribb, Sven-Göran Eriksson's assistant as well. Will Alan Curbishley be the new England manager? The bookmakers don't seem to think so. They've got him at 8-1 this morning, most of them. But there have been so many twists and turns in that plot that you are a brave man if you can forecast what's going to happen next. We certainly can't. So here it is, Alan Curbishley's last game at the Valley kicking off. The Championship's been settled today, the relegation argument has been settled today, but who goes into Europe at the end of this season? Blackburn Rovers hope they will be one of the clubs, but they must finish in the top 6. Two-guy in possession, back in the side today after a calf injury. Powell getting it away on his 250th appearance for Charlton, the veteran fullback.
Well, let's hope it doesn't put a dampener on the game, Ian. I think we could have a good game in prospect here. Pitch looks good. Let's fizz off the surface. Blackburn have been playing some good football. Charlton have been stuttering. I think that's pressed Alan's decision, and when he was booed off the pitch at one game here, Portsmouth at home at half-time, they were calling for his head. Well, it's astonishing. What that man's done for this club is incredible. Not only built a team, he's built a club at the same time as well. I can remember temporary stands, ground sharing at Upton Park. And Alan Curbishley, well, can only be commended on the job, and him and his staff have done their Mervyn Day and Keith Peacock alongside him as well. Great man who's built a really great club here.
Hughes plays it in. I think everybody in football would echo that. But the timing of the decision is interesting, to put it mildly, after the fool's errand involving Big Phil Scolari this week. Pedersen trying to find Cinema Pongol, who's returned to the Blackburn attack today, the young man on loan from Liverpool, of course. To rediscover form, though, Blackburn. Lucas Neal feeds it wide to Stephen Reid, back in South East London, a former Millwall player, of course. Here he is again. Then two-guy. Savage looking to lay it off. And brought away by Ambrose here for Charlton, who are unbeaten, by the way, in their last 12 games at the Valley. Put out their own Thames barrier as well here. In the last 9 games, they've only conceded 3 goals in the Premiership on this ground.
It'll be interesting today with Aaron Bent up front with Bartlett. It's a different proposition. Bartlett's very good in the air, with that ability to hang in the air, win balls. You know, I think he'll thrive on his flick-ons. That was Bartlett, but Aaron Bent has really played a lot of this season on his own up front in the 4-5-1 system. Very difficult, and he's done well. Scored some great goals as well on the way.
They're losing Curbishley. They certainly won't want to be losing Darren Bent, but they wouldn't be short of offers if he did become available. There might even be a couple this summer. Not news the Charlton fans will want to hear. That's the hard reality of the game. One in the air by Pedersen. Pongol had read it well. He's the first to pick it up down the channel. Hasn't been featuring for the last 5 games, the young Frenchman. He has had a bit of a knock, according to the Blackburn coaching team. Missing the captain, Cinema Pongol. A bit of a careless layoff from him on that occasion. Kishisher picks it up for Charlton and finds Holland. Offside here against Darren Bent.
Maybe just broke a little bit early. Matt Holland down below us, just clipping one in behind. Dangerous game to play, holding a line against someone with the pace of Darren Bent.
Sorondo, skill challenge on Bellamy, who goes to ground and wants a free kick. The referee Rob Stiles is not interested. Reid playing it inside. Bellamy's picked it up. Good ball. Cinema Pongol, chance for Blackburn, and it goes begging.
Well, it should have been a goal. Saw the keeper creeping out. Just flicked it over the top of him. Pedersen was trying to close the gate on the far post as well. Good little ball, wasn't it, from Bellamy in behind. Pongol reacts first. Great little clip, but he's got to be hitting the target. And then you think if he isn't, Pedersen should be running that one in and closing that gate between far post and 6-yard box.
Rob Stiles just telling Craig Bellamy, I think basically to button it.
Well, he just had a penalty claim turned down. The linesman was quite close to the situation with a tackle by Sorondo. Just to give him a little bit of a mouthful. Fortunately, it was from a distance.
This is Reid. Deployed wide right today.
This is Rondo, he's challenging over this side. Bellamy's pace getting the wrong side of him. You can see, does he? Oh, we can't quite see it. He catches Bellamy first or the ball, right in front of the linesman.
Didn't strike you as a penalty, did it, at the time?
Try telling Bellamy that.
Links up again with Cinema. Well, here is Bellamy. Good start by Blackburn. Reid. Perry getting away for Charlton, who started very, very slowly in their last home game here against Portsmouth, but came back to win it. In fact, they were pretty awful in the first half of that game by their own admission. I think he got a kick, in fact. Holland.
They were awful last week as well in the first half away at Bolton.
Kishishev. There's Darren Bent, Charlton's player of the season, no question of that. Sankofa trying to play it in. The 21-year-old is starting for the first time at the Valley. He did make the starting lineup in the Premiership for the first time last week. A few injuries around at Charlton at the moment, and the suspension to Haridason as well.
Had a tough time last week, Ian, against the bombardment of Bolton. Really got a little bit hung out to dry in the full-back position. That's why I think the change has been made and Kishichev is in front of him today.
Reid for Blackburn, who are asking all the early questions. Savage joining in. Newcastle's point at Birmingham has put them into 6th place for the moment, 1 point ahead of Blackburn, but Blackburn do have 2 games in hand, and their last 2 matches are at home as well. One against Chelsea, who now have nothing to play for, they've won the Championship, and the other one at home to Manchester City.
Great start by Rovers, isn't it, Ian? They're really swarming all over Charlton, keeping them pinned in their last third. Their football on this pitch, they do knock it about well, like to zip it off the surface into their small strikers, Bellamy and Pongolle. And it caused them problems this afternoon, Charlton. Different set of problems than they faced against Bolton last week with their big forward line.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue and white half shirts in that penalty area to aim at here. Pedersen, and it's straight into Anderson's chest. Getting a rare run out in goal. He did start the season in goal. Stefan Andersson, who was there during that electric start that Charlton made, but then Thomas Myra became the #1. Just being given a game today, really, at the end of the season, you sense, Andersson. Holland. Here's Powell. Sankofa, nice ball to find Ambrose. They have just lately hit Skid Row a bit, though, Blackburn Rovers. They drew 2, and then they've lost their last 2 matches as well, so that's 4 without a win, just 2 points out of 12 at exactly the wrong time.
Well, a lot of teams at this stage of the season just creep up on the rails, Ian, and they get themselves into the position for UEFA Cup or Champions League, and then, well, having got there, it's not too bad, but when you get there, the pressure really is on to hold that position. Not being used to it, some teams at times, and get results when you need to. This really is the business end.
Championship winner with Blackburn Rovers in 1995. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It doesn't actually, sounds ages ago.
Oh, come on. Larson gets it away.
And the club's changed a lot since then. Been down, been back up again. I'm delighted that they're doing so well this season under Mark Hughes.
He's done things the other way round, hasn't he? He started as an international manager and is now making a good impression as a club boss. Powell. Hughes playing it in low. Had a really good season for Charlton, Brian Hughes, and has become a regular pick in the side, having been on the fringes of things a bit before that.
Yeah, he couldn't get in the side when they were playing that three-man midfield. Kizichev, Smirtin, just in there with Danny Murphy. They were playing some good stuff, but when they needed really to batten down the hatches, he came back in, and he's done extremely well. Along with Matt Holland, who was left out of the side at the time. So those two come back in, and they really needed results when it was going the other way after starting so well earlier in the season.
Here's Bent. And Kishishev. Nice piece of play from Sankofa. And Darren Bent's cross is a huge disappointment. It's a lovely move to that point by Charlton.
Well played the young man, Sankofa. Had to be brought off last week. He was suffering, but his first couple of passes have been good today, and that's nice to see. Alan giving him another run out and giving him a little bit of confidence.
Luke Young, by the way, still out injured, but good news about him. Should be fit in about a week's time, say Charlton, and should be up for World Cup selection at least. Whether he actually does get selected, of course, is quite another matter. Bellamy's little flick on was a good idea. He was wondering whether Sinamar Pongol or Pedersen might have been driving into that gap. Savage won the ball back for Blackburn Rovers. Now here's Bellamy. His best ever scoring season in the top flight. He's got 13 Premiership goals. Pedersen. Gray on the overlap. Holland working back well. So fit and committed, Matt Holland, and has played every game in 6 of the last 8 seasons, which is quite extraordinary. A Lampard-like appearance record. Tribute to his fitness and conditioning. Two-guy. Lucas Neal. Now Sinamar Pongol. Reid. Bellamy trying to get across Chris Perry, but Perry was wise to the movement and gets it out for the throw.
Perry and Sirondo were bombarded last week with Davis up front. For Bolton this week, Pongol and Bellamy, their movement just in behind. We've seen Pongol get in once. It's going to be totally different today.
Two-guy. Thought about having a crack with his left foot. Sinamar Pongol and Bellamy hadn't quite read it. Little chat between the two strikers. There usually is a chat when Craig Bellamy's out there.
Probably not telling him unlucky for misplacing that pass. But I think he's in great form, Craig Bellamy, this season. Wonderful he's come on late, and I think that's when their fortunes changed, Blackburn. When Mark Hughes here got Craig Bellamy back in the side, they look a totally different side with his pace to get in behind defences.
And he scored 4 times in his 6 outings against Charlton. Quite likes this opposition, Bellamy. Sankofa. Gray has only laid it up for Kishishev here. Here's Holland. Chipped up towards Ambrose. It found some good area. Oh, it's a lovely effort from Ambrose right at Friedel, whose save could only have been a reflex, instinctive one. 6 inches either side, it was in. Pedersen. Tough luck on Charlton that. Great play by Darren Ambrose.
Good reactions from Friedel, because you're right. Either side, that's a goal, because he was so close. I think he's done extremely well to get the chest and volley away so quickly with Lucas Neal just behind him.
Pedersen. Here's Bellamy. Some nice movement from Blackburn. Can they find a bit of end product? Gray. Not this time. Paul. Bellamy on this left-hand side. Morton Gamps Pedersen goes down and gets the free kick on the edge of the box. Matt Holland's challenge.
Just got away from Pedersen, but he does well really to get the toe and invite the challenge from Holland. That's the key. It was a smart little turn. He knows Holland's going to come in with a tackle. It's the toe away. He knows he's not going to get onto that. As long as he got that first toe, he was always going to get the foul.
So here's an opportunity for Blackburn Rovers. Stefan Andersson lining up his wall. He seems to shake the hands of every single player in the team before the kickoff. His hands are needed maybe for something else here now. We know that Reid packs a punch. Remember that howitzer at Wigan from him. He's there. Pedersen's there. It is Reid. Oh, what a save that was by Andersson, who must have seen that at the last minute. How did he keep that out?
Well, you can tell the way he saved it that he didn't see it, and all of a sudden it's on him. Look, that's right in front of him. I think he does brilliantly to get it away. Tried to catch it, and he just bounced down to a striker. Does extremely well to get it away from the goal and for a corner.
Two super saves at both ends. Here's a corner. Morton Gamps Pedersen. He does actually try to score from corners. He told me once he scored 6 in one match as a schoolboy, direct from corners.
It's a great save by Andersson, I have to say, and the reactions are splendid because it's a drive by Reid. There's players in front of him, Nelson there. Pitch is just before him. Just before him. He can't see it, catches a late sight of it, just gets it away with his arms.
Really did see that at the last minute, the young Danish goalkeeper. Now then, Rob starts having a word with Mark Hughes about something or other. Presumably Mark Hughes having a bit too much to say about something or other. Are they still moaning about that penalty that they thought Bellamy should have had, I wonder?
Probably, but Mr. Stiles, I think, just come over to calm everyone down.
Nelson gets it away. Bellamy flicks it on, finds Sinemarp on goal. The goals have just dried up a bit for Blackburn Rovers lately. To put that right here and over the next week. Neal, but it's not a good cross. Easily away by Perry. Kizanashvili, the Georgian, getting it back. Todd, by the way, injured. He's got a knee injury at the moment, so no return to him to Charlton, a club he left in rather acrimonious circumstances, you might remember, after a bust-up with former Charlton keeper Dean Kiley. Bartlett laying it back, Powell playing it inside, Hughes laying it forward, and it was well read again by Ryan Nelson. What a signing he's been for Blackburn Rovers, from American football for free as well. Holland, nice ball to change the point of the attack to Chris Powell. Ambrose. It's Darren Ambrose. He didn't get a hold of it this time. He's a youngster who does have an eye for goal, but he hasn't got one for quite a long time. He's got 19 without a goal, Ambrose, now.
He does like to get on the goal trail. He's playing on that left-hand side, and he's a right footer, so he loves cutting in. We've seen him with that chest and volley earlier, which Friedel saved, and there again, coming in on his favoured side, getting his shot away.
Bellamy. He was left out for the game at Birmingham, just a little dip in form, but back today. Bellamy, good work. Morton Gamps Pedersen Cinema Pongo's on the near post, it deflected, and again Anderson did pretty well because there was a lot of deflection on that.
Well, Pongo's run was too early. He got past the near post. Pedersen got his head up, couldn't pick anyone out, so thought smash it across goal. Little deflection, that's what made it a good save.
Holland gets into trouble. Bellamy and offside against Cinema Pongo.
There's the Ambrose chance from earlier on. Nice little chip pass from Matt Holland. Gets the wrong side of Lucas Neal. Chest volley, quick reactions. Can't quite get it either side of Brad Friedel. Does extremely well to get his shot away though. Just a short space of time.
Good piece of play, and Brad Friedel playing as well as ever. He's played every game this season, by the way, for Blackburn. Won't be at the World Cup though. He's retired from international football, so won't be the United States keeper at the World Cup. Nelson laying it forward, but that was well read by Sorondo. Kishashev couldn't quite manage to find the predatory Darren Bent, who has scored in Charlton's last 2 games. He's on 22 for the season, and he's Charlton's best scorer in the top division since Stuart Leary half a century ago. Not bad.
You saw a lot of him, didn't you, Darky? Stuart Leary?
Every week,
yeah.
Every week. South African, wasn't he? Sankofa's not going to be able to get that. Guy on towards Bellamy. That's the chance to run at defenders, but it was well watched by Perry, who gets a big cheer after robbing the player that opposition crowds always seem to cast as the enfant terrible.
They defended well there, Perry. And the step-overs are coming in, and the likes of Bellamy, Ronaldo, they love those. Just got to watch that ball, so not get carried away by the feet moving over the top of it. Perry defended well.
Gray. Just a spell of pressure on his weaker right foot. Has to go back to Brad Friedel. He's glad the goalkeeper was an option for him. Blackburn, by the way, have played Charlton twice already this season and scored 7 goals, and they're offside here before they get a chance to make it 8. Bellamy, the flag did go up.
I think Rob Starles gets it right. It's not a foul by Stephen Reid on Chris Powell. They both go for the ball, and the ball breaks for Stephen Reid. They both go for it, no problem there. Bellamy's already gone. Maybe Stephen Reid could have took that on himself, but Bellamy was looking towards that near side, and there was no one to run off the shoulder of, and he'd gone early.
Nelson wins it in the air for Blackburn Rovers, who came here in November, were 2-0 down with quarter of an hour to go in the League Cup and won 3-2, leaving Alan Curbishley feeling his word numb. Bent lays it back to Holland, who tries his luck.
Better from Charlton, good one-touch passing. Matt Holland getting his half volley away. Straight to Friedel though.
Savage's challenge, Holland stays down.
The referee's not even given a foul. You can see Robbie Savage coming after the ball here. Just gets it through the legs of Matt Holland. Not much wrong with that. Mr. Stiles looks like he's got that one right.
Hughes. Dispossessed by Reid, and Powell held him back there. Play on, says the referee, because Blackburn have it in the shape of Cinema Pongo'o. Stephen Reid looks to fire one, it deflects, and Anderson's going to grab it.
I think he's come on bundles this season, Stephen Reid. His pace and his strength is really giving Powell problems at the moment. Played in the centre of the park, plays on the right-hand side. I think a few of the big clubs have been looking at him, the real big clubs, that is, top four. He's been that good, Stephen Reid.
And his old club Millwall are still supporting him because they get another £200,000 if Blackburn finish in the top 8, and it looks like they're going to. It's useful money for Millwall, who of course have been relegated, which would be bad news for Lucas Neal and Reid. Powell, by the way, is the player down injured. Powell was pulling back Reid earlier on, wasn't he, as that move developed, and he played an advantage, so I wonder whether Powell is going to pick up a yellow card here when he's fit again.
Bit of a double whammy for Chris Powell. Gets injured in the challenge. Maybe holding back Stephen Reid, and then gets a yellow card after it. That is a double whammy. You see, he just gets caught in possession. Nothing wrong with that from Stephen Reid. Then he's trying to get away. No doubt, I think that he's trying to hold on to him, Chris Powell, in the first place. Then Stephen Reid reacts. I think he just gets a little poke in the eye there, Chris Powell.
Confirmation of the yellow card. What a way to mark your 250th appearance for the club. There's not much sentiment around in this game. But there is a fair bit of it around at the Valley today for Alan Curbishley. I just wonder what all those Charlton fans, and one or two were moaning to me earlier on the way in, saying it's all getting a bit boring. We finish in the middle of the table every season. Why aren't we pushing on into Europe? Well, maybe they'd like to swap with the Birmingham and West Brom fans tonight.
Oh yeah, and the money he spends, and for the position he's in, and the way the position of the club they've been spending off the pitch as well, with this magnificent stadium now, I think you've just got to hold your hands up to the fella. And those who are moaning about him might think next season, whoever takes over, they've got a tough act to follow, haven't they?
Well, you don't like to say it, do you? But you remember what happened to Leicester City after Martin O'Neill went. That might be a worst-case scenario for Charlton, who will think long and hard about who takes over. Tough act to follow. Like a hand in there from Neil. Play on, said the referee. Might have been accidental. Here's Reid. Well, one back by Ambrose, who's been in and out of the side, the former Ipswich and Newcastle youngster. Sometimes Jerome Thomas preferred to him. He's injured at the way, by the way, today, Thomas. Kishishev. Decent idea, because Bent was making a run from deep.
Talking about a tough act to follow as well, Ian, but whoever comes in, the club's in place because it's been created by Alan Curbishley and the chairman, Richard Murray. They got on extremely well. Everything's there, training ground, the stadium, everything. Superbly run club, this is.
Nice job for somebody, but who? We repeat the question, where next for Alan Curbishley? Gonzalo Sorondo has been out injured most of the season, just getting a little run here towards the end of the campaign. Pulled up there.
Combining well, Bellamy and Pongo. They're just trying to play close together and just little touches around the corner, trying to play off of each other, trying to get it into their feet all the time or in behind. Nothing up in the air so far. Good stuff from Rovers. Charlton as well, playing their part. They're both trying to pass the ball, trying to create their chances.
Gray to the 35-year-old Turk. Two guys, patient and mellow midfield player. Reid trying to find Nelson, who'd come up from the back. Sign of Blackburn's ambition. They want all 3 points here. Sankofa has to get away the corner kick.
Good ball from Two-Guy. Pedersen comes short, tried to check in behind Sankofa, but he read it and got it away. Two-Guy in the middle of midfield. Well, they really give up a little bit of athleticism by playing in there, but he's a very good passer of the ball.
Pedersen's going to take the corner kick here for Blackburn. A lot of players arriving in their Charlton head. Wins it though, and Reid can pick it up on this side. Just as adept wide on the right as he is in the centre, Stephen Reid. Two guy. Bellamy. Some pleasing passing from Blackburn Rovers. They just can't break down this obdurate Charlton defence, and not many teams have managed to do that since Christmas here. Reid. Gray joining on the other side here. Cinema upon goal, and Perry was there again for Charlton.
Maybe just guilty of a pass too many. They're getting in crossing positions, although they've got a couple of small strikers. Still maybe should be whipping those crosses in behind the defence. Maybe guilty of just one or two extra passes, Blackburn, but you can't take it away from them here. They're really trying to pass it into those strikers and pass their way around Charlton.
Blackburn did beat Charlton 4-1 at Ewood earlier on in the season. Now then, Reid. Just a bit of a swinger, really, with the left foot. Looked like that anyway.
Looked like it, and it was. At the moment, they're dictating the game, Blackburn Rovers. Two guy in the middle of midfield. They've got to get tighter to him. He's pulling the strings, orchestrating. Alan Curbishley telling his defence to push up. You've got to press in, press the midfield in, stop two guy getting on that ball. Put pressure on the ball, and you stop the ball coming into the strikers from midfield. That's what he's keen to do for his back four, not to be too deep.
Holland trying to help it forward. Gray. Two guy. Most of the pressure coming from Blackburn. They had a big chance with Cinema upon goal. Perry gets it back. Still no score here. And of course, those clubs in the race for UEFA Cup will be watching this one very closely indeed. Charlton want a top 10 finish and to top 50 points. They'll get 50 points if they win this. They're on 47 at the moment. But it looks like it's going to be pretty tough to beat Blackburn in this mood.
I've seen them quite a few times this season, Blackburn. They have a lot of possession of the ball, and I don't think their goals tally reflects the possession that they have. They've been cruelly dubbed, shall we say, dirty or over physical, and I think that's wrong. I think that's taken away from the good football that they play.
And they played a fair bit of it today as well. Pedersen was rather looking for the free kick. I wonder if he's going to get booked here for diving. Pedersen, yeah, he is. Booked for diving. Referee not happy about that.
Well, he did look like he went down in instalments, I must admit. Just dragged it inside, you can see. Drags it inside Sankofa. Yeah, look at that. The little flick on him was about a yard before. That was, well, went down like a sack of spuds, didn't it?
Spot on, and you'd love to see referees doing that more when they're absolutely certain, as Rob Stiles was then. There was no contact whatsoever, and he was just looking to con the referee, frankly, and quite rightly got a yellow card for it. Some people would like to see it turn into a red card. Hughes in towards Bent, whose first touch just took it in towards Kizanashvili, and there was a flag up anyway.
Well, I don't think he read the intentions of Hughes there, Darren Bent, because he's looking one way and passing it the other. He's given it the eyes. Hughes, you can see, picks it up here, but Darren Bent doesn't react. Looks one way, ready to pass it the other, and Darren Bent hasn't reacted and stayed onside.
Neil, that's way too long for Cinema upon goal, but Charlton putting up stern resistance. They are a club, of course, who've been accused quite a lot of having the deck chairs out in March most seasons, but this time they've got a respectable 11 points from the last 24 available to them, and that compares with 3 out of 27 at the back end of last season. Coming up on Sky Sports tomorrow, another game affecting this European argument, which is still very much alive. Tottenham Hotspur, who won a Champions League place, of course, and Bolton Wanderers, who want a UEFA Cup place. Big game from White Hart Lane, 3:30, Sky Sports 1. Here's Hughes. Ambrose chips it forward. Charlton not able to create too much. bar that wonderful effort from Darren Ambrose earlier. Here's Bellamy.
I think a little key factor in this, when you're looking at the game, you can remember Bellamy and Pongolle being on the ball an awful lot of times, but not Ben Bartlett at the other end. They need to be getting more ball into their strikers.
This time Pedersen does get a free kick for his tumble into the turf. He'll just have to watch his step a little bit.
He was trying to get up a bit quick though. There's a collision. Kisichev, yep. And as he goes down, he's keen to get up a bit sharpish, just in case Mr. Stiles thinks he's diving.
Now then, Savage with the free kick for Blackburn Rovers, who need a breakthrough here. Not going to get it like that though. Piece of cake really for Stefan Anderson. Here's Ambrose on the chase. Got a bit of pace as well. He's done well. He's got past Lucas Neal. He's only got Ben to aim at in the middle. And it was Guy that got back to concede the corner kick.
That's a great break. Straight from the keeper Anderson, and Ambrose does well to suck Lucas Neal in, committed him, went past him, but couldn't pick out that final pass.
Now then, Charlton, who've absorbed a lot of pressure here, with a corner kick of their own at the other end. Ambrose swings it in, Sorondo couldn't quite reach it. Nelson's header away. And away by Pedersen, who was once described as Norway's answer to David Beckham when he first arrived in England. He's scored some great goals since he arrived and been a wonderful signing really for Blackburn Rovers, but a little blot on his copybook with that yellow card for diving today.
The more the referees see it as well, Ian, the better. You don't want to be picking up a reputation like that as well, because then they do start looking for it.
Rob Stiles was making the point to me, I had a chat with him about this quite recently. He said there's a difference between a player actually cheating and just exaggerating the contact, and that's what we've got to be certain of before we produce the cards. He was obviously certain that Pedersen was basically cheating.
Well, as long as Rob Stiles knows what he's talking about, we're all okay. Yeah.
Well, he's the one making the decisions, isn't he?
That's right, but he got that one exactly right. There can't be any complaints about that one. I think you've got to embarrass the players as well. That's the key. Embarrass them when they see it. You know, you've got to say, oh, that's embarrassing. The other lads in the dressing room and things like that. And it'll stop. People start encouraging it, and of course that's when you've got problems.
Interesting to see how the offence is treated at the World Cup this summer. Reid flicking it on. Cinema Pongolle did well to win it. Plays a little 1-2 with Bellamy. Cinema Pongolle, and over the top by Reid in the end.
It's not a bad effort because it's behind Stephen Reid. I think he's looking to cross it in behind the back four, Pongolle, when he gets out to this right side position. But he hits it in front of the defence. Stephen Reid slightly back on it. Tries to get it on the half volley. Difficult skill to keep it down.
What might have been, that's what he's thinking. Gray. Yes! Curry was always going to be the boss in the air, you felt there. Powell now for Charlton Athletic. They did improve dramatically in the second half in their last home game here against Portsmouth and went on to win it. Bartlett lays it back. Who's trying to find a way through. Reid now for Blackburn. Craig Bellamy. Towards the near post, Pedersen nearly got there. Anderson's fist did the job. Good idea.
Playing good football. Nice build-up. Just not that end product.
Almost a kind of weird atmosphere among the Charlton fans who had that bombshell news before the kick-off that Alan Curbishley is resigning as the Charlton manager. There's a booking here for Lucas Neal.
When he goes for tackles, Lucas Neal, he commits everything. It's a wild challenge. He misses. And I think Rob Stiles has booked in for the intent.
Two reports recently suggesting Spurs might be interested in Lucas Neal. Just part of the transfer chatter that keeps the merry-go-round turning. Sorondo couldn't quite reach it, and he's useful coming forward from the back, the Uruguayan. Oh, there's a problem here. Charlton got in a bit of a mess. Savage looks to lead the break. He's still got it as well, and into the back of the heels of Pedersen inadvertently. That was unfortunate. And Savage is sent flying by Kickoff. To be fair to Robbie Savage, he got straight back up again there. Didn't choose to make anything. Oh, he's got a yellow card.
Oh, dear. Well, he done well to get up after the challenge by Kickoff. And I think he was pointing at a challenge previous before that to Rob Stiles, and he wasn't having any of it.
And Kickoff booked as well in that little altercation. And Rob Stiles is knocking on now towards 90 yellow cards for the season. Savage has got 11, incidentally, to go with his first ever red card as a club player. That was against Middlesbrough recently. It was a bit unlucky maybe on that occasion as well.
I just saw a first there, Ian. Craig Bellamy telling Robbie Savage to come away from Rob Stiles and be quiet.
He's growing up, you see. Bellamy's little back heel this time. Sankofa was there and had read it. The 21-year-old, a learning experience still for him, playing in that right back position with Luke Young injured, and of course a dislocated shoulder as well for Jonathan Spector, who's out for the rest of the campaign. Not that there's much left of it, of course. Sorondo didn't reach it, and the header is in by Reid. Got him behind. Blackburn Rovers have the lead.
Question marks that have to be asked in that defence. He's had to stoop to head that one, Stephen Reid, and he's inside the 6-yard area from the long throw. Throw comes in, they all miss it, and look, he ends up stooping inside the 6-yard area to get his head in. Over the top of Sorondo, in front of Powell, and it's a simple header into the net. How's it come that far? Should the keeper have come? Should they have dealt with it? Well, the answer is both. They should deal with that, Charlton. And Stephen Reid, that is a real bonus. Can't say they don't deserve it, though. Been the better side in this first half.
And now they've got the payoff as well. It was a soft goal from Charlton's point of view. Blackburn Rovers are ahead here, and if they hold on to it, they go back into 6th place. They'll be in a great position as well to make sure they finish 6th, with 2 home matches left after this one, if they can get the 3 points.
Well, there we go, look, 64% away from home. That's incredible. Saw this against Spurs when Blackburn went there as well and ended up losing the game.
They really
dominated the game, Ian. I think they've done that a lot of times this season and haven't got their rewards, but here 64%, and they get the goal. It's a scrappy one at the end of the half, but you can't say they don't deserve it. They played some good football.
All Stephen Reid's goals this season have been scored away from home. That was the 4th. 3 of them have been in the Premiership, but that's a vital goal at this stage of the season, especially after the slightly dodgy run Blackburn have been having. Well, it might be Alan Curbishley's last game at the Valley, but I think he might have plenty to say again at half-time, as he did at half-time in the Portsmouth game here recently, when he really balled the players out, we understand.
So disappointing to concede. Concede from a throw-in like that when the ball, well, he could have pitched on the floor, but he stoops to head it, Stephen Reid. He gets in behind Sorondo, who doesn't head it. In front of Chrissy Powell, who gets ragdolled out of it a little bit by Stephen Reid, who's kind of bullied Chris a little bit on that right-hand side today. Hasn't been able to handle him. And of course, he hasn't got the keeper. Anderson maybe should have come, but it's only that distance from goal.
2 minutes of added time, which you just might have heard there from the stadium announcer. 2 minutes. Here is Bellamy. They played some nice stuff, Blackburn Rovers, as you were saying. A lot of people want to dismiss them as some kind of wild bunch, but they played a lot of good football and deserve enormous credit for pushing themselves into the European argument this season, having been 15th in each of the last 2 seasons. So bottom 6 to top 6.
They're doing it the right way as well. They've got a good mixture. They've got some youth, they've got experience, they've got legs, they've got passing ability. Likes a 2-guy. It's a good mixture. They'll complement each other well. Charlton have got to do something this second half to get back in this game. And remember that Ambrose shot, really, which Friedel saved. Otherwise, it's been all Rovers.
Bent, who hasn't had an awful lot of service so far, but I've made sure of that. Kickoff, which might have stung Charlton. They haven't lost here since Boxing Day. Crowd getting a little bit restless. The half-time chatter here will be about Alan Curbishley and about who they'd like as the new manager. It's Richard Murray, the chairman, who made the announcement, the dramatic announcement, over a microphone to the supporters pre-kickoff.
I think that would have been a sad announcement for him as well, because they worked so well together, manager and chairman, in building this club. His last home game, I think he would have wanted to go a little bit better than it has done, but they've got the second half, and we've seen before Charlton respond to Alan Curbishley at half-time. They're going to have to, because Blackburn have been dominated.
Neil plays it long. Of course, it's entirely to Blackburn's advantage, isn't it, that Chelsea clinched the Championship today as well, as they go to Blackburn on Tuesday night with little to play for, on the face of it anyway. Stephen Reid's goal, separating the sides here. Blackburn very dominant, in truth, in that first half, and getting the payoff. A soft goal for Charlton to give away in Alan Curbishley's last game at the Valley, and he's going to have to give one last rousing team talk at this ground to get Charlton going in the second half. Half-time here then is Charlton 0, Blackburn Rovers 1.
Well, it's threatening to be a rather anticlimactic farewell to Alan Curbishley. Blackburn won't mind. They have Europe very much on their minds. George's thoughts after the break. All eyes were on Alan Curbishley prior to kickoff, following that dramatic announcement that he's to lead the club at the end of the season. Stephen Reid has upset the apple cart, though. Coming up this evening on Sky Sports, plenty to look forward to. Football first with Claire Tomlinson. The details of it coming up any moment now. No, they're not. But Claire Tomlinson will be along with Football First on Sky Sports 1 at 10:30 this evening. Game of the day is Wigan against Portsmouth, and some game that was for Portsmouth in particular. It's 1-0 to Blackburn at half-time here at the Valley. And George, there's an air of deflation around the ground, perhaps inevitable after the announcement. Was it the right thing for Alan Curbishley and Charlton to do?
Well, they must have had the reasons for it to do before the game, Marcus, because I would think the priority today is obviously for Charlton to win the match first of all, and then they can make an announcement afterwards. But they must have had the reasons. But this game today, it's one of those rare occasions when the actual team has got to lift the crowd, because obviously after the announcement, the crowd are on a downer. Blackburn have totally dominated the possession of the game, and they're probably a bit fortunate just to be one down.
We understand that the Charlton players heard the news as they came back in after their warm-up, so less than 10 minutes before kick-off. It's very unusual.
I'm really, really surprised if that's the case, you know, because the players must be going out there thinking, instead of thinking about the game and thinking about Blackburn, their opponents, they're thinking about the manager, you know, is going to be not going to be there next week. But saying that, let's not take any away from Blackburn. I mean, they have actually played superbly. One of probably the weaknesses that I can see in the team is they just need to score more goals. Having so much possession, they've got to score more goals. So really, if there's somebody upside Bellamy who could guarantee that 15 goals, they would be really thinking of getting into the top 6.
Well, they did get the goal that they've been threatening for most of the first half, just a couple of minutes before the break. Pedersen's long throw, and Alan Curbishley will be having kittens about his defenders there, won't he? And his goalkeeper.
Marcus, when you do your homework with the opposition, you know from before the game starts that Pedersen's got a long throw. That is a long throw. I mean, but the headers come from inside the 6-yard box, and that to me is not only poor defending. I think the goalkeeper's got to come for that and punch it, Marcus. I think that's really a mistake by both Sorondo, the centre half, because he's jumped up and completely missed it, and the goalkeeper standing on the goal line. The ball's travels, about 40-odd yards, something like that. I blame the goalkeeper. I thought he should have come and punched it.
So the Charlton players a little below par, the spectators bewildered. From a Blackburn perspective, on their way to 3 priceless points, it's rather playing into their hands at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and let's not take anything away from Blackburn. A few weeks ago they had a wonderful performance against Tottenham, of all people, right? And today they're passing the ball beautifully. The manner of their football is fantastic, especially with this reputation they got last season about being over physical. But I think the way they've played has been superb. If they had another finisher up there, boy, they would be quite a good side.
Well, the end of an era draweth nigh here in South London. Everybody connected with Charlton would love to see the team come back and win. For the manager in his last home game, they've got a lot to do in the second 45. More live action to look forward to on Sky Sports. Tomorrow, Preston against Leeds, 1 o'clock Sky Sports 1, and Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace from 1:30 on Sky Sports Extra, the final day of the Championship, of course. And also, tomorrow, it's Spurs and Bolton, 3:30 Sky Sports 1, 2 teams with European aspirations, and Osasuna versus Real Madrid, 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 1, and football first this evening with Claire Tomlinson at 8:25, not 10:30, as I mentioned, 8:25. Game of the day is Wigan against Portsmouth. Congratulations to Chelsea, who are Premiership champions for the 2nd year running, George, after a comfortable 3-0 win against Manchester United.
Yeah, this is a really bad goal conceded by Manchester United. Silvestri ball watching, and Gallus nicks in to get a clear-cut header here.
This wrapped things up, Joe Cole, some individual brilliance.
Fabulous footwork here. Look at the footwork. 3 players around him. Wiggles his way out of it. Just a nice finish to slot it home there. But the goal of the 3, Marcus, this is the one.
I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson will necessarily agree with you.
Look at Carvalho. Carvalho picks it up here, his own penalty area, gives it to Lampard. Is it Lampard? Yes. And then he starts going on a run. Watch him at the top of the picture, down the left flank. Gives it, I think is it Joe Cole?
Yeah.
Joe Cole. Then Joe Cole sets him up. And Carvalho, the only thing he missed out really was shooting with his left foot, and that would have capped it all. What a goal. Wonderful.
He had time for a cup of tea before that, and that is the hardest thing to do, they say, retain the title. But they've done it.
It certainly is, Marcus.
Congratulations to John Terry and co. Elsewhere in the Premiership, Birmingham 0, Newcastle 0. Birmingham relegated as a result of that because Portsmouth won by 2-1 at Wigan. Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 1, a couple of goals for Steven Gerrard. Manchester City beaten at home by Fulham. It's Fulham's first away win of the season. And Middlesbrough 0, Everton 1. James McFadden with the only goal at the Riverside. Here at the Valley at half-time, it's 1-0 to Blackburn. If you have just joined us, the dramatic news is that Alan Curbishley has announced his resignation at the end of the season. So this is his last home game, and Stephen Reid's goal separates the 2 teams. It's going to be a very emotional final 45 minutes for that man and for these supporters. Let's rejoin Tony Gale and Ian Dunn.
Well, what did that last team talk at the Valley include, I wonder? A rousing speech. And I think the players will want to go out there and do it for the boss here. They'll have to come from behind against Blackburn, who dominated the first half. By the way, Curbishley's record as the Charlton manager reads: played 727, won 280, drew 183 and lost 264. Twice he got promotion for Charlton to the Premiership, once in dramatic circumstances after a 4-4 draw with Sunderland at Wembley, you might remember, when Michael Gray, who's on the pitch today for Blackburn, missed the decisive penalty.
I was actually at that game. Can't believe that one. That seemed ages ago, but what a day that was.
What a game. Wembley won't have staged too many better than that, the old Wembley. Clive Mendonca hat-trick, as I recall it. Here's Darren Ambrose. Charlton needs somebody to come up with one, let alone three at the moment.
Yeah, they've got to get their game going. They've got to impose themselves on Blackburn now, and saw Allen in the first half, along with Keith Peacock on the line, trying to press on his players to push up, condense the play, stop Blackburn from playing. If you can, try and make them play a little bit longer. So they want to play into feet, into midfield, into their strikers. Get a little bit tighter all round the park and maybe nick possession off of them and cause them a few problems going the other way.
5 players already booked in that first half. By the way, Kickoff for Charlton, Pedersen, Neil and Savage already booked for Blackburn Rovers. Kickoff, as the ball goes down on that far side. Romadal left out today, the more attacking option on the right-hand side. Paul Kickoff didn't even make the 16 for Blackburn Rovers in today's selection. His future may be in some doubt. His contract's up in the summer. Ambrose, Sorondo.
There was enough pressure on Sorondo, so he couldn't get a clear header in there. Plenty of pace on the cross from Ambrose, and Sorondo just trying to get across his marker. There's enough pressure on the ball there so he doesn't get it in cleanly.
Sorondo, whose old club, Crystal Palace, were relegated on this ground in Charlton's last home game last season. That finished dramatically. 2-2 draw. And Jonathan Fortune came up with a late equaliser for Charlton to send Palace down. Leave that to me, says Brad Friedel. Friedel, of course, who scored on this ground in the past, that injury time goal a couple of seasons ago. He thought he'd equalise for Blackburn, but Charlton went to the other end and won it. Perry's good challenge. This has fallen for Savage, and the flag is up here against Craig Bellamy.
Close one, because I think it was Hughes from midfield, just started to track back. Back four came up. Hughes, you can see from the midfield spot, he starts to go back in with Bellamy. And look at this near side, Chris Powell. That looked on to me. It looked on.
Here is Powell. Goalkeeper's come for this, and Brad Friedel wins it with his punch. Pedersen long offside again here for Bellamy. Who, me? Surely not.
It's a risk. It's a risky run. They have got to press in, Charlton.
He's still arguing the case about it as well, Craig Bellamy. Bent flicking this one on. Bartlett's in behind. Couldn't quite turn it in. It's going to be a corner kick.
It looked like it was after you, Claude, between Friedel and Nelson. Flick comes in. A little bit slow to react. Limping a little bit there, isn't he, Nelson? And Friedel maybe could have come and just prods it away for a corner.
Here comes the Charlton corner kick. Well, Hughes got ahead to that and is really disappointed that he didn't plant a firm header into the net. Ryan Nelson, we think, might be struggling a bit with a knee injury here, the Blackburn Rovers captain. Just looking over to the bench. Is he going to be able to go on? David Bentley is waiting to come on, so they're going to have to reorganise a bit here by the look of things. Yeah, Nelson's going off. That's a blow. Can he play in the last 2 games at home to Chelsea and Manchester City, with Blackburn gunning for the UEFA Cup? They really do need him. And Andy Todd is out too with knee cartilage damage at the moment, so that is a real problem for Blackburn Rovers.
Well, I think he's been one of the unsung heroes. There's Dave Bentley coming on, but Nelson at the back, I think he's a real leader. They will miss him, but it's all changed for Rovers now. Reid's gone over to right back. Lucas Neal's gone in at centre back alongside Kizanishvili. and David Bentley's come out to this right-hand side. So one player off, and quite a few changes.
And Bent. Neil stops him in his new position at centre-back. He was deployed at left-back at Birmingham last week.
We've also got McQuainer on the bench, who can play at centre-back as well. So could have done a like-for-like.
Yellow for Sorondo here.
Was late. Pongo gets there. There you go. Wasn't a lot of contact, really. The contact was where Pongo tries to get over the top of Sorondo, where he's actually missed him.
Levels the bookings up at 3 apiece. Sankofa getting it away. Here's Gray. Charlton just maybe looking to up the tempo, and Curbishley will have tried to energise his side at half-time. Here's Ambrose. Bennett was trying to check his run to make sure he didn't go offside, and it never worked out for Charlton in the end.
Well, it was a lucky one. Kizanishvili and Lucas Neal didn't strike up that immediate understanding. One went, one stayed back, and he broke that offside trap.
Blackburn do get a corner here. Earlier in the afternoon, they'd lost 6th place to Newcastle, but this goal, scored by Stephen Reid just before half-time, puts them back in the box seat very much for a European place. It's another Pedersen special towards the near post. Cinema Pongo couldn't quite manage to flick it on. Kizanishvili, now Bentley. Wants to hit one from long range. He did score his first Blackburn Rovers goal on this ground in that League Cup comeback when they won 3-2 here.
And out the side, David Bentley. But another useful signing by Mark Hughes. He's played up front off the main striker. Played right side, played left side. Useful squad player that he's become now at Blackburn Rovers.
He's been more in the side than out though, hasn't he? After being relegated, of course, on loan at Norwich last season. Bartlett won it in the air. Ambrose tries to head it forward. And Charlton going to get a free kick here. Charlton fans trying to whip up a little bit of noise. They've been quiet, maybe understandably so, during that first half, absorbing the Alan Curbishley news. Terry's going to chip this forward. There's one in the air by Pedersen. Here's Cinema Pongo. Offside here. Stephen Reid back at right back. It really is a bit of a makeshift Blackburn Rovers defence. Can Charlton test it? At the other end, meanwhile, well, his pace gets there ahead of Sorondo, and Sorondo, that's a foul by him.
It's a foul, but well played, Bellamy. One ball out of defence from Lucas Neal, 60 yards in the channel. Well, we'll run those channels all day long, use his pace to get the ball, and well, you can have 7 and 8 passes to get to that sort of stage in the game. Right in the last third, one pass, they're there, and they've got a free kick in a dangerous position. That's what Craig Bellamy gives you.
Savage towards the back post. It was too long for Kizanishvili, who was waiting at the back post, hoping for his first Blackburn goal.
The two guy was on the edge of the area as well. He was asking for the chip for the volley. There's a couple of alternatives. There's two guys, just give them a little reminder there. Good combination. They've run that midfield central area today. Two guy with his passing, Savage with his energy.
Two guy who will be staying at Blackburn Rovers as well. He's just signed a new one-year deal. He did have an offer to go to the Middle East and play there. Qatar, I think it was. Ball refusing to go out of play. No, he did in the end. And Charlton are relieved about that as well, because Pedersen had got in behind. Reid is a difficult bounce from this, and he took his time controlling it. Ambrose got a foot in as well, but Reid made sure he didn't get in behind him and did the job in the end.
He's got to change his mindset now. He's gone back to right back, not right side midfield. He can't take risks back there. He's the last man there, the right back position on the flank, that is. Can't take too many risks.
Worryingly for Charlton, they're creating very, very little. I mean, how difficult is it, Tony, at this stage of the season, if you're in Charlton's position, middle of the table, on the face of it, not much to play for? You can talk about top 10 finishes and reaching 50 points and that kind of thing, but have the players really got the edge?
Well, you would think they would. There's a lot of money for the placings in the Premiership, about 450 grand a place. There's a lot to play for financially.
Very did well there, with Cinema on goal, looking to break behind him. Watched the ball really well, and Holland, good bit of play.
And there should be, as there was there, that natural competitiveness. They're struggling. I think they're struggling for confidence, Charlton. I don't think they're passing the ball anywhere near what they did at the start of the season, when that three-man midfield I talked about earlier, Smertin, Kickoff and Murphy, were really running games, and they were playing a good passing game, similar to what Blackburn are doing today. And it's funny how during the season, you know, fortunes change, and you get it going, then you have the lull, and Alan Curbishley says he wants to chisel out results, and then it changes all around again.
Which raises the question, really, has Alan Curbishley decided he's taken Charlton about as far as he can?
I personally think he's made the right decision now. I think it was a real tough one because of what he's created at this club, and he's going to give it over to someone now, Ian. Lock, stock and barrel, that is. And you know, normally you come into a club when you're a manager, you've got everything to create, but he's done it here. So the manager comes into a ready-made club, instant position. Hard decision. I think he's made the right one.
Bellamy here for Blackburn. Good ball low in. Anderson couldn't hold it, but grabs it at the second attempt. Good idea from Blackburn. We've played most of the attacking football here so far. Charlton just struggling to get going, really. I think that the Charlton position might be an attractive one for one of the bright young managers from one of the lower divisions who've been making names for themselves. They're going to make changes here now, and they're going to give a game, among others, to Lloyd Sam, a youngster who's been waiting on the sidelines for a long time to get an opportunity. Kickoff is coming off as well. And Kevin Lisby, who's just returned on loan from Derby County this week, he comes on too. Big cheer for Lloyd Sam, who was Charlton's young player of the season last year. This is his Premiership debut.
Don't often get chances to blood young kids and give them a chance to see whether they can react to the first team atmosphere. Sankofa, Lloyd Sam today. Lisby, he's been at Charlton a long, long time. He's coming up front now. He's come on for Bartlett. He's got bags of pace and energy. That's a different proposition to Bartlett, who's the big central striker. Let's hope that it stirs them up a bit, Charlton.
Here's Stephen Reid, whose goal still separates the sides. Onside this time, Bellamy. Surrender's the winner of the challenge on this occasion. Two-guy for Blackburn. Looking for their 6th away win of the campaign. They haven't been the happiest travellers, though, just lately. Do find it difficult in London as well. Very few wins in London in the league. Rondo gets there ahead of Craig Bellamy that time.
Well, Bentley's coming short, trying to suck Chris Powell in, and then obviously they're going to try and hit it in behind Chris Powell. And Sankofa on the other side. Wide players sucking fullbacks into Bellamy and Pongol get in behind in those channels.
Gray. Morton, Gamps, Pedersen.
Same as the first half, though, Ian. It's Blackburn dictating all the possession and all the passing at the moment.
Yep, a good value for the lead at the moment, but it is only a one-goal lead. It can change in an instant. Reid. Ambrose was able to get it away for Charlton. He just can't seem to keep the ball or get any kind of passing rhythm going.
Ryan Nelson going off. They've had to alter a few personnel and the positions that they're on. Hasn't seemed to affect them. They're still passing the ball well.
Two-guy. Now Bentley. Maybe he can be a creative spark for a second goal for Blackburn, which would really put them in the comfort zone here, you'd think. I feel they just might need that as well. Bentley to Bellamy. Nearly worked something with Sinamar Pongol. Charlton try a more direct route to get Darren Bent in behind his speed and power, but the top scorer is at the moment feeding on not much more than crumbs from the table. Sinamar Pongol. Savage looking to break through here. And Saranda was there in time for Charlton.
Well, they just need the goal. They need the goal to kill Charlton off. They're having all the play, really passing it about, zipping it about. Just need to create that final chance in the last third. Kill Charlton off at the moment. It's good stuff to watch. Just need to have that killer instinct at the end of it.
It's flipped on by Lisby for Bent. Towards Hughes and Holland here, trying to get Lloyd Sam in behind it. Sam who plays it back, and an important clearance by Kizanashvili.
Yes, it was. Got in that space on the near post. Nice little ball from Matt Holland in behind. Driven across by Lloyd Sam. Kizanashvili gets there first.
Bit better for Charlton. Can they build on that? It was away by Neil with a back header. Gray. Now Sinamar Pongol. It's deflected. It's a difficult bounce, and it's into the back of the net as well. Bellamy. 2-0 Blackburn Rovers. Nightmare for Charlton there, complete misunderstanding, and Blackburn Rovers now are sitting pretty. And are they on their way back into Europe?
Well, it's a great break again, but it's a deflected cross from the left-hand side. It comes in from Pongol. You see the deflection deceives everyone. Anderson, Powell and Bellamy. And you can see just there, looks like it comes off Chrissy Powell for an OG. I think Bellamy probably misses it. There it comes off Chris Powell, and it goes into the back of the net. I think he thinks Anderson's going to deal with it. He just shoulders his arms. He just should come away, just take everything, the kitchen sink, punch it away. Chris Powell shoulders his arms, and it just hits him and goes in. But unfortunate for him. I think the keeper should have dealt with that one.
It is a Powell own goal. The replays, I think, confirm that Craig Bellamy didn't get a touch on it. th appearance for Charlton Athletic, booked, own goal. Now, he really didn't know much about it, to be fair to him.
There wasn't a lot he could have done about that, to be honest. I think the deflection fooled everyone. But Anderson, it just was up there to come and punch and really clear everyone. Clear Powell, clear Bellamy out the way. Kind of shouldered his arms when he decided to do that. Just hit Chris Powell and went in.
Ambrose. Sorondo couldn't quite reach it. Here's Bent. Turns. Darren Bent. And it was cleared by Pedersen.
Oh, can they raise their game, Charlton? Can they get back into it, get a goal and then try and go on and get the equaliser? They've got to lift it. They've got to get these fans going as well.
Ambrose did well. Blackburn get it away with difficulty on this occasion. Bentley. Bellamy again. Two-guy has really linked the play together cleverly in the middle of the midfield and has been central to Blackburn's passing game here today. Cinema Pongolle can't get past Perry. Well, earlier on in the season in the League Cup, as we were telling you, it was Blackburn who came from 2 down to win 3-2. Can Charlton do the same back to them?
The key to it is getting the ball. They can't get the ball. You really got to pressure that ball. We've got to lift it. Players have got to lift it themselves. Close that ball down. Stop Blackburn from playing, because the likes of two guys been a walk in the park for him today.
Sam. Bentley getting back to defend. Mark Hughes has told his players it's a 3-game season for you now going into this game. Make sure you go out and get the points and that we get the payoff and claim that European place. To be fair to Graham Souness, Blackburn did twice reach the UEFA Cup when he was the manager, once finishing 6th with 64 points and another time via winning the League Cup. Hughes volleys it, decent effort. Not far away.
That's got to get the crowd going. They've got to do more of that. They've got to press in, try and force some errors. If their passing's not as good as Rovers, they've got to press them. Got to make them make mistakes. Good effort from Hughes. Always going over, really. Friedel looked like he had it covered. But good technique on the volley.
He scored in 2 of his last 3 games, Brian Hughes, and did score against Blackburn up at Ewood Park. Alan Curbishley is not on the phone to the FA as far as we know. It's Keith Peacock he's talking to.
Yes, he wants to. You could probably tell him to hand the phone over just to the keys next to him, I think.
Here's Powell. Charlton fans, you just sense a bit D-mob happy. Curbishley's going, they're 2-0 down at home, they're trying to whip up a bit of a storm. See if their side can get back into this. Curbishley's final game as Charlton manager will be at Old Trafford against Manchester United next week. United may need to win to confirm second place.
Look at the time and space the Rovers have got on the ball. Playing the same way, 4-4-2 against each other, and really they've just got to tie down man for man and start getting tight to their immediate opponent. Look, there's bags of space and time to pass it around. And they just got a little bit sloppy there, two guy, but all the time in the world.
Hughes. Charlton did stage a real rally in the last 20 minutes or so of their last home game when they came from behind to beat Portsmouth, but this is a more mountainous task here with Blackburn pinning and pinging the ball around the surface here at the Valley. Looking to quite enjoy themselves doing it, almost looking like a training ground routine at times.
And there's a deflated look about the Charlton players. They need something to spring.
And if anyone can spring it, it will be Darren Bent. But to be honest with you, not much chance for him to further his World Cup claims in front of Tord Grip today. Hasn't had a chance, has he?
No service whatsoever.
Holland, more promising here. It's Holland, and it's wide.
Oh, that's a chance they've got. They've got to press and nick the ball off with Rovers. They've got to press on them. They nick the ball there, then of course you don't have to build up yourself. You're straight into their defence. Nicks the ball off a two-guy. They're tight for once. Matt Holland drives on, uses his strikers as a decoy, gets his own shot away, but drags it just wide.
He hasn't scored at the Valley for over 2 years, since a 1-1 draw with Birmingham. Matt Holland, rather surprisingly, has got a couple away from home this season. Bentley. Bellamy. Gone for the 1-2. It was him and Bentley trying to work something, and it was exciting really the way they changed the pace of the attack. Sorondo's header for Charlton. Bentley. Now it's Bellamy. Bentley. Comes off Powell. Reid. Blackburn Rovers playing like a top six side here today. Savage towards the back post, and Pedersen was there and couldn't direct a header goalwards.
Well, he got in front of Sankofa. He couldn't get his header on target. It's a great cross from Robbie Savage. The deep position here, right out on the touchline. Whips it into the far post. Pedersen good in the air for a left-sided player. Oh, they just can't stretch those neck muscles enough to get it on target.
Charlton's really good home run of 12 games without defeat in all competitions. Under very serious threat here now. Bellamy. Now Bentley. They've got so much space out there, it seems, Blackburn. Kizanashvili couldn't work it back to Bellamy. Lisby dispossessed. Bellamy again. Rob Stiles has just called a halt to the action for a moment. Now going to make another change here. Sorondo is coming off. And Jonathan Fortune will go into the centre of the defence.
Came on last week at Bolton, Jonathan Fortune, and they switched to a back three. Just looks like a straight swap today for Sorondo.
He's just come back from a rib injury, by the way, Fortune. It's surely a foul on Tugai. They have played well, Blackburn, here, Tony.
I think their 1 and 2 touch play has been excellent, and I think as the season's progressed it's got better and better. I think it's when you're managing like Mark Hughes has been, and you haven't got star players like Bellamy earlier on in the season, you've got to get results, and then when your star players are black, you start playing your football, and you start playing as well as they have done today. And they did at Spurs. We say everybody saw them live on the TV that day. That's some good stuff. Charlton just can't get near the ball, can they?
And the home fans just getting a bit restless as Blackburn ping the ball about at their leisure here. How many passes is this since Charlton last had a touch?
I think sometimes you just got to get tight. Someone's got to kick someone. You know, I don't mean that horribly, but you've got to get tight. They're taking the mickey out of them at the moment. Someone's got to get tight, and you take the lead from someone making a tackle. As Billy Bonds used to say, get your shorts dirty now and then. They haven't got their shorts dirty today. They haven't got near Blackburn.
That comes off Sam last for a goal kick. This is not exactly what Alan Curbishley had in mind for his farewell appearance as manager at the Valley. And he looks pretty exasperated about it as well. By the way, in English football, only Dario Gradi at Crewe and Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United have served one club longer than Curbishley's 15-year reign here at Charlton. Usually here they've played a lot better than this while he's been the boss.
Been a difficult day with the announcement before the game and everything. And I think he's had chances in his career at Charlton to move to other clubs, Alan Curbishley. Other clubs have been on the hunt for a good manager. I still consider him a young manager, I must admit. I was talking the other day in a press conference as if he was getting on. I still think he's a young manager, a good young manager as well, and coach. So maybe time to seek pastures new, and whoever gets him now, and I'm sure there'll be a queue, he won't be short of admirers and people looking at him, will get themselves a good young manager.
He's 48 to be exact. Yes, young.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Here's Bellamy, who he tried to find Cinema Pongo with the reverse ball, but Powell was back to cut that out. Charlton, who were given a real old hammering at Bolton 4-1 last week, and certainly on the wrong end of things here. Blackburn have looked very, very comfortable. By the way, Bolton Wanderers in action tomorrow, live on Sky Sports 1, and a very important game for both clubs, that involving the European argument at Spurs. It all starts at 3:30 on Sky Sports 1. Join the team for that. Fortune, who scored in that last game of the season, last season against Crystal Palace. He scored the goal that relegated Palace. Savage has given this away. Bent. Reid storming forward. Savage ahead of him. Bellamy on this right-hand side. He really has had a good season, Craig Bellamy. And Powell trying to make sure it doesn't get there, but it's Bellamy who's pulled up.
It's a right decision. Chris Powell does well. He's read the pass from Stephen Reid inside of him, and he just tries to cut him off at the pass, Chris Powell, and he does.
Rob Stiles just wanting a word. I don't know if he's just got a bit fed up with Bellamy chirping away at him for the whole game. It's kind of, oh, he's got the yellow for it. He's got a yellow. I thought he got away with that, but the yellow comes out almost as an afterthought.
Me too. I thought it was a warning, and he must have said something on the way away from Rob Stiles. He's shaking his head. He can't believe it. It's not worth saying anything. Just nod and agree. Get on with the game. I thought we got away with that one.
But I don't think he's ever going to star in a sponsored silence, is he? Craig Bellamy. This is Cinema Pongo. Bentley. I wonder if David Bentley in the back of his mind is thinking, hey, maybe if things had worked out a bit differently, I might have been looking forward to the Champions League final with Arsenal, but it never did quite work out for him there. Just confirmation of Bellamy's yellow, the 7th yellow, by the way, of the match here.
7 yellow cards. Can't remember a really heavy tackle in the game.
No, it's not been that kind of game, has it? Not by any stretch. Savage, by the way, is one of those players who has been booked by Rob Stiles today.
He might have to book himself in a minute, Rob Stiles. He doesn't stop talking either, does he?
Perry. Bentley, who's been pretty influential since he came on. Finding a lot of room, but you could say that about a lot of the Blackburn midfield players and attackers. Bent. Holland. Hughes. A little bit better here. Sankofa. Just run into trouble though. Blackburn have got it back again. Here comes the break, led by Florent Cinema Pongol. Gray. Two-guy. Blackburn Rovers haven't looked like a side. They've only taken 2 points from the last 12 available to them here. They've been the bosses more or less from the word go. Maybe it would have been different if that clever swivel and volley from Darren Ambrose had gone in. Maybe that would have lifted Charlton, but Blackburn have had so much of the ball here today. Bent, look at his pace. And it's Blackburn who will get the decision. Gillespie was trying to make the break on the right-hand side. This is Bentley. Bellamy, who's almost had the freedom of the valley at times.
Well, this is no sort of coincidence, the way that Blackburn passed the ball. This is worked on the training ground, this 1 and 2 touch play, possession football. And George Graham was saying at half-time, another striker to go alongside Bellamy who gets goals. All of a sudden you have got a very, very good side. They're a good side at the moment. But just that difference from kicking on that little bit further. You can see how well they keep the ball. They play into little pockets, they play into midfield, play short to their strikers, they go long in behind, they defend well, they're organised. I think it's excellent coaching, and you can see it's been on the training ground. Mark Bowen and Mark Hughes, Reid is Vicky. Got a good side together here.
He'll be very, very proud, I think, of the way his side are performing here. Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes OBE, we should say. Here's Lloyd Sam. Back to Osei Sankofa. Gillespie couldn't reach it. Kizanashvili it was who got it away, and a clever little header from Bellamy gets Blackburn Rovers going again. And out of play because Blackburn have Stephen Reid down injured. They'd already lost Ryan Nelson. They don't want to lose another key player with these 2 vital games still to come over the next week or so. Reid, whose goal set Blackburn Rovers on their way here today. Soft goal that Charlton gave away, it was at the end of the first half.
Yep, long throw-in they should have dealt with. It come a long way. Keeper should have been out, defender should have done better. Reid just stoops to head it in. The first goal, second goal, an own goal from Chris Powell. from deflected cross from Pongolle. Some great football in between from Blackburn, but 2 scrappy goals, which their play really hasn't reflected that Charlton should have defended better. Their plays deserved better goals than that, Blackburn, but it doesn't matter how you score.
Reid, who was just holding his ribs. Two guy. Bellamy, Savage is the target for the pass, but Hughes was back reading that and defending well. Gray really do look very, very comfortable indeed, Blackburn here. No threat at all to their comfy 2-goal advantage. And we're, what, 4 minutes from the end? It has been a bit of a doddle for them, Tony, to be honest, hasn't it?
It's just been like a training session. The announcement before the game, I'm sure, has had an effect on Charlton and the team, but you've got to hand it to Blackburn. They've played extremely well.
Here's Reid. Driven in and put away by Chris Perry. Yeah, you might have a point there, I think, Tony. Maybe it's not only the fans who are shell-shocked, maybe it's the players as well about that announcement before the game about Curbishley's resignation.
Touch of everyone. It's been the best-kept secret in the world, I think, down there in that tunnel.
Yeah, not a whisper of it in any of the morning papers, and usually the football reporters are pretty sharp on the gossip. But, that came as a bit of a bombshell. Savage looking to keep it down in the corner. They don't really need to do that. Blackburn, 2 goals up.
Some weekend, hasn't it, already? They're not over yet, the weekend. Just before the weekend, we have Scolari, saying he doesn't want the England job. Now we've got Alan Curbishley resigning from the Charlton job, and he's going to be linked with that. We've had the Wayne Rooney injury this morning. We don't know the extent of that. It's been some weekend.
Well, we must hope Wayne Rooney is going to be okay. Obviously, we did much more on that. That is exactly what England did not want. It's not been a great 24 hours one way and another for the FA with that Rooney news. The Championship goes to Chelsea, of course, today, and congratulations to Portsmouth for their remarkable escape. Birmingham and West Brom go down with Sunderland. It's all happening. Off comes Florent Cinema Pongolle, and Shefty Kuchi's going to get a little run out here. A slightly disappointing season for him since his move from Ipswich, where he was full of goals last year. His old strike partner there, playing in a red shirt today, of course, Darren Benn. Powell here for Charlton. Bentley to Bellamy. Savage had Pedersen in a lot of room on the left-hand side and didn't seem to see him. Powell. He was away by Lucas Neal, who's really had an anxious moment back there in the centre of defence, filling in for the departed Ryan Nelson. Well, they're going through the party pieces a bit here now. Blackburn back to form here with a vengeance.
Well, certainly not the way Alan Curbishley would have wanted his last game in charge at the Valley to go. The players will be parading afterwards. I think half the crowd are gone, and that's a shame. They should be paying a little bit more respect to Alan Curbishley for what he's done down the years as well, I think.
But to be fair to the fans, they haven't had a lot to shout about. Kuchi, it's Fortune who gets in the way. Maybe Alan Curbishley's last game in charge at the Valley has coincided with one of the worst Charlton performances during his reign. Sad to say. Lovely bit of trickery there from Sam. Savage to Reid. Bellamy dropping deep and enjoying his roving commission. Then that little change of pace. Savage on that far side. Anything else would be just a bonus for Blackburn now. Basically for them, the job's done. And it has been done for some time, if we're honest. Barring something extremely dramatic, but we're already in stoppage time. Bentley. Here's Bellamy.
The crowd at last rising to Alan Curbishley. That's great. That's fantastic. Stand up for Alan Curbishley, they're saying.
Yeah, at last.
Brilliant.
Here comes the tribute. Reid, that's deflected behind for a corner. It's almost now as if the match has become an irrelevance for the Charlton fans. They now are moving into a full tribute for Alan Curbishley and everything he's done for Charlton Athletic. Never mind what's happened out on the pitch today, which has been a bit miserable from a Charlton perspective. They know what this man has done for this club, and they are saying thank you.
I even saw the Blackburn bench clapping, applauding. They're applauding over there now. That's great stuff. He deserves this.
He really does. Savage and header from Kizanashvili, and the final whistle blows for Alan Curbishley's reign at the Valley. His last home match, just one at Old Trafford to come. An emotional day for everybody, I think, connected with Charlton Athletic. And wasn't that great, the way the Blackburn bench applauded him as well and joined in the chants of the fans. The end of 15 memorable years for him here, in which Charlton came back to this ground and built it up wonderfully and became the model really for many clubs of modest means to make a permanent place for themselves in the big league. Charlton, despite today's defeat, have done that. They will finish in the middle of the table again this year, way clear of any problems down at the bottom. From Blackburn's perspective, an absolutely excellent performance here. A couple of streaky goals, really. Soft one, really, for Stephen Reid. An own goal from Chris Powell. Charlton are beaten for the first time at home since Boxing Day. And Blackburn Rovers looking good now in 6th place to qualify for the UEFA Cup next season. What's he feeling? What's he feeling, do you think, Tony, now?
I think it's a mixture. I think he'll be a bit gutted about that performance and the way it's finished at the Valley. But he's just got to remember the years that he's put in for this club, and they've got to remember it as well and give him the tribute that he deserves. Wasn't a good performance today, but that's nothing to do with it. That man has done absolutely wonders for this club. It wouldn't be a Charlton, I think, if he wasn't about Alan Curbishley. Alongside Richard Murray, been absolutely brilliant.
Look at those faces of the Charlton fans. They're staying behind, they're still applauding the man who has become a fixture at the Valley, but no more. There will be a new boss next season. Nobody seems to quite know what to do, but Charlton have lost here on this emotional day. Charlton Athletic 0, Blackburn Rovers 2, and what next for Alan Curbishley?
Well, a bitterly disappointing afternoon for Charlton, but it's not about 90 minutes. It's about 15 years from Alan Curbishley, 11 in sole charge. He has built this club into a pretty formidable Premiership force, and whoever does take over at the Valley has a huge task to maintain the standards that man has set over the past decade or so. Many will feel he's made the right decision, but it's a very poignant moment for him, and it is a shame that his team couldn't perform to their true capabilities in his final home game. And we will, of course, hear from Alan Curbishley just as soon as possible. George Graham's alongside me. It is the end of an era, a disappointing way to go, but sum up his achievements over 15 years at the Valley.
Well, to take over such a small club, you know, who didn't really have a ground, you know, and he's actually built up the club, and I'm a big admirer of the way he works, his management style, because he's not only a good manager, he actually brings in players to the club, he actually works hard on the training pitch. He's a coaching manager. You know, he actually does the hard graft day in, day out on the training pitch. He's a good tactician, and I'm not surprised he's in the running for the England job.
Do you feel he has made the right decision to go now?
I said it before the announcement, Marcus. Actually, quite honest, Marcus, I actually said it 2 years ago. I think the timing is a very, very important thing in anybody's life, especially in football management. There's a right time to move, and whether this is the right time or it should have been 2 years ago, only time will tell. But I think there's a bigger, and I don't mean to be too critical here, I don't want to say there's a bigger club than Charlton, but there are bigger clubs, I think, that he could take charge of and do a very good job.
Well, it may be his country, of course, and the speculation will abound. After what happened yesterday, the vacancy appears to be there again. One would assume that this was a decision Curbishley made some time ago and not on the spur of the moment.
No, it's not a spur of the moment, definitely not. And it must have been very, very difficult to keep it quiet so long. But he's made the decision, and whether it's England or another club, and as I said before the programme, I mean, how many big clubs, you know, are looking for a new manager? Certainly not Chelsea, certainly not Arsenal, certainly not Liverpool. It's a difficult one because there's only a few bigger clubs around, you know, who are probably underachieving at the present time.
Well, one thing's for sure, he will be flooded, no doubt, with job offers. The other issue, of course, for Charlton is who does succeed him, and we'll reflect on those subjects before the end of the programme. Let's just clarify the standings with one more week to go in the Premiership. Chelsea confirmed as champions today, of course, following their 3-0 win over Manchester United. Liverpool beat Aston Villa to go level on points with United, who do have a game in hand. Spurs at home to Bolton tomorrow. Arsenal play at Sunderland on Monday night. Blackburn in 6th place, 57 from 36. 2 home games to come. UEFA Cup football is very much back on the agenda for them. Newcastle drew today, they're in 7th. And down at the bottom, it's all been decided. Sunderland were already down, of course. West Brom didn't play today, but they have been relegated, and so too Birmingham, because of Portsmouth's 2-1 victory at Wigan. A remarkable escape act again from Harry Houdini. Much more to look forward to on Sky Sports in the way of live football tomorrow. It's the final day of the Championship. Preston play Leeds, 1 o'clock Sky Sports 1. And it's Sheffield United against Crystal Palace from 1:30 on Sky Sports Extra. And then it's to White Hart Lane for Spurs against Bolton, 3:30 on Sky Sports 1. And there's more on Bank Holiday Monday. Arsenal will be very interested to see how Spurs fare against Bolton before they go to Sunderland, who are desperate for a home win. Haven't had one all season in the Premiership, of course. 5 o'clock Sky Sports 1 for that. And then it's West Brom and West Ham, and it'll be something of a wake at the Hawthorns. No great escape for the Baggies this season. And on Tuesday, we'll see Blackburn again, the first of their 2 home games to end the season. Manchester City on the final day, Chelsea on Tuesday, and having clinched the title today, might not be a bad time to play Jose Mourinho's side. 7:30 on Sky Sports 1. Hugely impressive performance by Blackburn at the Valley today. More from George after the break. A 2-0 win for Rovers. It could have been so much more. Reaction from the ground. Stephen Reid with the first goal. Chris Powell with an own goal. All the analysis, and Alan Curbishley when we come back. A 2-0 win for Blackburn at the Valley on the day that Alan Curbishley announced his resignation as Charlton manager at the end of the season. And the Charlton manager is now speaking to his supporters.
Firstly, I've had a fabulous 15 years. Some years I'm sure many of you was at Upton Park when it all started. I'd like to thank obviously the support I've had from Richard Murray for the 15 years that I've been in the club.
We have a problem with Alan Curbishley's microphone, unfortunately, which we'll attempt to rectify just as soon as possible, but it's obviously a very emotional moment for him, paying tribute to his chairman, Richard Murray. They have enjoyed a wonderful relationship over the years, and no surprise, because it's been a wonderfully successful period for the club. And it's sad that it's ended in this rather anticlimactic way, George.
Yeah, it's very emotional, Marcus. When you actually been at a club as long as he has, there's a great attachment, a great feeling, a great love, you know, for the club. And this is what he's saying now. He's thanking not only the fans, the boardrooms, the directors in the boardroom, and also his backroom staff as well as the players. And really, it's a team effort from everybody. It's not just Alan Curbishley, it's everybody. But he's the head. He's the one that carries the can if things don't go well. But he's built up a lovely little club here. Well, he's helped with his chairman. He's built up a lovely club, took them away to Crystal Palace, brought them back again to a lovely stadium. And he's right what he says there. This is now a big club, a big Premiership club. And he was probably right to say that now it was the best time for him to move on. He's probably taken them as far as he can, and it's only right that maybe somebody with new ideas, a new way of doing things that motivates the players, it gets more results on the pitch. And this is what happens when you leave a club. There is an emotional attachment to it.
Okay, more thoughts on Alan Curbishley's imminent departure shortly, but let's hear from Mark Hughes, the winning manager, now talking to Guy Havord.
Mark, another huge step towards Europe.
Yeah, I thought we were excellent today. Controlled the game for nigh on all the period, and some of the stuff we played I thought was excellent. I thought we benefited from two guys' presence in there. The old maestro was getting on the ball and put on a masterclass, I felt. So yeah, we grew in confidence as the game went on, and we looked strong, looked powerful, and won the game quite comfortably in the end.
It was a strange atmosphere, wasn't it, from Charlton's point of view? When were you aware of Alan Curbishley's announcement? Well,
actually, I was called by my chairman, and Charlton's chairman wanted just to make me aware of the situation, and that was about half an hour before the game. So, yeah, I mean, it's a surprise to everybody. Obviously, I'm not quite sure why Alan's made the decision. I'm sure he's got his reasons, but he's done a fantastic job here, and you saw the reaction at the end of the game. It was right and proper that should be the case.
When you heard, were you worried and thought Charlton might be extra fired up?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was a little bit concerned. We were lining up, and I had to go around and just remind the players that obviously we were involved in a game that was very important to us, and I thought we were excellent in that respect. I thought we were very focused on what we had to do, and we got the 3 points, and absolutely delighted with it.
And with Newcastle dropping points as well earlier today, it's looking really good for you currently.
Yeah, we've still got a little bit to do. We've still got two home games, two difficult games as well, but as you said, it's in our own hands, and that's all you can hope for at this stage.
Chelsea next week, you're hoping they'll be celebrating for quite some time after today?
Well, I hope so. I hope they're out all night. So, yeah, it's Tuesday night, and it'll be obviously a big day for them, but hopefully a bigger day for us. If we can get more points on the board, then that sets us up very nicely.
Well done today. Terrific performance.
Thanks a lot, Guy.
Well, having gone 4 games without a win, he's understandably thrilled by that display today.
Yeah, I think it was the manner of the performance as well, Marcus. I think they played lovely football, possession-wise. As I said, there's only one little thing lacking in my plans, would be to get another striker, somebody to finish off their wonderful approach work. But it was really good to watch.
Yeah, the 2 goals they got were scrappy ones, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, a tremendous long throw, but I think the goalkeeper, or even the centre-half, and then when you look at it again, you think, well, the goalkeeper's got to come and punch. And it's inside the 6-yard box.
As you said at half-time, they would have been aware of this threat from Pedersen's long throws.
Yeah. Part of a manager's brief really is, he knows all the opposition. He's had them assessed by his assessor, and they know the set pieces, corner kicks, free kicks, throw-ins, and they should have been prepared for that, but obviously they never carried it out.
A deflected cross by Pongol, which led to the second goal. Craig Bellamy had been a real threat throughout the afternoon. He perhaps deserved to get the final touch, but sadly for Chris Powell, making his 250th appearance for Charlton, it was him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long ball in here, and there's been a deflection. The goalkeeper, if the goalkeeper decides to come, Marcus, he's got to come, take the defender and the forward, he's got to go through the two of them. But instead of that, he comes out and he's all at sea there, the goalkeeper, and Chris Powell's got no chance.
He's not been in the team recently, Anderson. He was given a chance today. Perhaps that's some defence for him. It's one of the most communication, certainly.
It's one of the most difficult things for a goalkeeper to learn, Marcus, is decision-making. When to come and come all the way, and when to stay. And that's one thing that games, in his games and more games, to realise that his decision-making's got to be a lot better.
Well, Blackburn have certainly put themselves in pole position for a UEFA Cup slot. Let's hear from the man of the moment, though. Alan Curbishley is now with Guy.
Goodbye to the fans.
Can you start getting started?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going.
Okay. Alan, you've said goodbye to the fans, your last game at the Valley. What are your thoughts?
Well, mixed emotions. Obviously, I would have liked to have done well today, but I think when you see the goals that went in, and it wasn't going to be today. I think it was a very subdued performance, and I thought it was going to be once the players and the fans knew what was going on. But I've got to stress, I've had a fantastic 15 years at the club, and over the last couple of months, it's nothing to do with any outside influences whatsoever. I just felt it's the right time for the club to make a change. I wasn't going to extend my contract. Richard was unhappy about that because he's committed to the club totally, and he wants people committed to the club, and he felt 1 year wasn't a commitment. So, we spoke over the last couple of weeks, and we had another meeting yesterday. It was only done yesterday. 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So, I just feel that it's the right time for me, right time for the club, and I wish everybody the best. I just want the best for Charlton.
So just to clear up, you talk about the extraneous circumstances, that the England linkage. It's nothing to do with that. No call from Brian Barwick this morning or anything.
No, nothing to do with anything. We sat down yesterday afternoon. Started at lunchtime, and by the end of it, that was the decision made, and I was happy with it. Richard's happy with it. I leave the club on very good terms, obviously, and I just wish all the best for them. I need a change. I need a break, and that's what I'm hoping to do.
How big a break? Will you be looking to be managing a club in August?
No, I don't think so. I think, I've done 15 years without a break. No managers, apart from Alex and Dario Gradi, no one's got anywhere near that. And, I need a little bit of a time out. I need to freshen up. And, no, I won't be looking to be doing anything for a little while, I think.
So does that rule you out of the England race?
Well, I don't think I was ever in it, really. We'll have to see, but that's a totally different situation. But, this decision I've made today is purely about me, purely about Charlton. I want Charlton to... I'm not talking about going to the next level. I'm talking about I want Charlton to stay where they are and perhaps do better. But, I think it needs someone fresh coming in. I think it needs someone to take up the reins. So I've done my bit, and it's time for someone else.
Sorry to push you on this, but if Brian Barwick was to ring you, would you be available?
It's not a day for that. It's a day for... It's nothing to... As I say, I've said earlier, it's nothing to do with outside influences whatsoever. It's all about me and Charlton, and I just think it's the right thing. So does Richard, and... I think the club wanted to plan today as a send-off and as a thank you. And, managers leave football clubs out the back door normally, and I've definitely left out the front door.
Memories? Best memory?
Obviously the playoff final, I think, put us on the map. But really, when we come back here, I think it sounds sentimental and whatever, but it was. Coming back here, I think, made us a club again. At the time, we was at Upton Park, and we wasn't a football club. We was just struggling along. But I think once we came back here, the club changed, and it's now changed out of all recognition. And I hope the fella that comes in has the same affinity and has the same love for the club as I have.
Well, from everybody, many congratulations, and I'm sure after your break you'll be back